Now let me be clear. This is not me, as a Vancouver Canucks fan, going out there and talking smack right away about former Vancouver Canucks players when they leave. I just wanted to react to some of the things that we have seen online. That's it. Some comments made by Frank Seravalli and some analytical breakdowns as to what other contract comparisons you can make. Today we're talking about the newest Boston Bruins first-line center Elias Lindholm, because ever since he left the Vancouver Canucks and decided to sign with Boston, pretty much for $700,000 more AAV-wise than what the Canucks were offering him, we had seen a lot of Canucks fans saying, oh yeah, it's good that the Canucks did not sign this guy to that kind of a contract, and it makes sense why he himself would want to go to Boston, not because strictly the money is better, which it slightly is, but because of the opportunity. He would be the first-line center on that Boston Bruins team. He wouldn't have to play behind JT Miller. He wouldn't have to play behind Elias Pettersson. Easy, understandable, okay, great. But when it comes to Elias Lindholm and the contract itself, I wanted to talk about a few tweets here, going over comparisons and, let's just say, potential goof-ups. And by goof-ups, I literally mean this guy left millions of dollars on the table to go down the path that he went down with Vancouver and eventually with Boston. Take a look at Frank Seravalli. This is what he had said on Flames Talk the other day. He believes that the last Calgary Flames offer that they gave out to Elias Lindholm was 8 years and $8.5 million a year. And hey, you want to talk about opportunity? He was the first-line center with that team, right? I mean, Lindholm and then Kadri, 1A, 1B, it wasn't necessarily like he was playing down the lineup in comparison to the rest of the Flames in that era. So heading into 2023-2024, after Elias Lindholm put up a 21-22 where he had 82 points in 82 games, and a 22-23 where he had 64 points in 80 games, to still even be offered an 8 by $8.5 million deal, that's crazy. I mean, I get it. The Flames want to capitalize on a guy who had 82 points in a season. He was playing with Gaudreau. He was playing with Tkachuk. He had 40 goals, and he was really good. But the year after, he declined from 82 to 64 points, and they still apparently were in the market of $8.5 million-ish for this player. And Lindholm said no. A lot of comments going out there, and the replies to this tweet like, hey, if he rejected 8 by 8.5, could you imagine how much he did not like Calgary? Could you imagine how much he wanted in that time frame? I mean, it was already reported that he wanted a huge deal, maybe even $9 million if he really got lucky there, but once he rejected that contract offer, you could very well say, hey, it's done for the Calgary Flames. They shouldn't be signing a guy like Elias Lindholm to anything above 9, so they got no choice. They got to trade him, and they did. They got a lot of stuff in return for Lindy Lindholm, Kuzmenko, Yoni Yermo, Brustevich, first-round pick, third-round pick, lots of stuff from the Vancouver Canucks. Okay, there were conditions on those picks, so it wasn't all like that, but still, Elias Lindholm went over to Vancouver, had a great playoff run. You could debate that he boosted his stock too, based off of how he had played in the postseason, but his regular season play with Vancouver was so subpar that I think it kind of balances itself out, and Lindholm only gets $7.75 million in the open market. You know, they always say free agents, they get more money than the guys that are already retained by their teams, and they just re-sign with the squad they're already on. But for Lindholm, he ended up getting less, and if you wanted to do the math on that, 8 by 8.5, and you multiplied everything out, that's a total of $68 million on a contract. 7.75, I think that's what it is. Yeah, multiplied out by 7, that's $54.25 million. So Elias Lindholm, by not taking that contract extension with Calgary, pretty much put on the table $10 million-ish plus dollars that he forfeits. That's a lot of money. And I get it, you know, hockey players are hockey players. Their scale of money is a lot different from you and me, but $10 million is still $10 million. And maybe as the contract goes on, maybe it's not even going to be worth that much for the team that has him anyway. Look at this tweet made by Rono. I'm not at home, so I'm posting this without comments. Sorry, folks. Rono, of course, does I believe they do the Andy and Rono NHL player card breakdowns, but contract comparison, Elias Lindholm, 7.75 by 7, 8.81% of the cap at the time. 29 years old. His comparison contracts are Brayden Schenn, 29 years old. He had signed an 8-year, $7.02 million AAV deal. And then other similar contracts, Louis Eriksson, Brian Gionta, Ryan Malone. Eriksson, 30 years old, 2016, $7.23 million by 6 years, 8.22% of the cap. He was dumped via trade. And then you have Brian Gionta, similar thing. Ryan Malone, similar thing. And you could say, oh, hey, some of the numbers are off, but the thing is, like, this is based on the percentage of the cap, so that's why the numbers look like this. It's not, 7.23. Louis Eriksson got $6 million, but back when he signed it, the cap was a lot lower. So these are sort of the numbers if you wanted to compare it via percentage of the cap. And even still, I mean, percentage of the cap-wise, Elias Lindholm is getting a lot more than all of these dudes did. So you can say that this contract has the potential to age poorly depending on how Lindholm ends up playing. But like Louis Eriksson with the Vancouver Canucks in 2016, there is an argument to say that it could work out. Lindholm could play on the top line, he could play with the Marchand, he could play with the Pastrnak, he could get all the power play minutes, and it could work. For Eriksson, you could say, oh, he had played with the Sedins at the World Championships and he was good. He was coming off a 30-goal, 60-point season. His presence could be cut from the same cloth as Alex Burrows, and that could be a good comparison. People could realize that there's similarities there. But unfortunately, Eriksson was so dog-water piss poor with the Vancouver Canucks that he never was able to actually get tangible results. I mean, he started his career with Vancouver scoring on the empty net in his own goal, and that was kind of indicative of the rest of his tenure with this hockey team. Now, when it comes to Lindholm, who knows if he's going to have a similar sort of oh crap kind of moment, but for the most part, we still have the benefit of the doubt because he has not played a game yet with Boston, and we're going to have to wait and see where he slots into the lineup, which we know is going to be first-line center, but for now, all we can do is speculate. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Firstly, about Elias Lindholm rejecting $10+ million more with the Calgary Flames, $8.5 million a year over the span of 8 years, only to get the 7.75 by 7-year contract he is on right now at Boston. What are your thoughts about his contract comparing similarly to Brian Gionta's, Ryan Malone's, Brayden Schenn, Louis Eriksson? All these contracts are bad contracts. Like, I get it, Brayden Schenn is not a bad player, but the contract certainly has aged poorly. Then you have yourselves Gionta and Malone. Eriksson, of course, is the worst one reputation-wise of them all. Is Lindholm in a similar category, and is he going to project as poorly as some of these other dudes did into the next few years of their careers? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99, and bye.